one.
What's up, everybody? It's Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the Midnighter to my Apollo. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Are you calling me an edgelord or
Yeah,
what's
pretty
the...
much. We went to high school together. I remember.
Yeah, if we're talking our high school selves, then fair enough.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
I was still listening to Weezer. You were listening to Papa Roach.
ugh, yeah, don't remind me. Oh man. I've talked a lot about concerts this week. Just happenstance, like now. Like I've
Yeah.
seen Papa Roach so many times. And
I always heard they're a good concert. Like our mutual buddy Clint, he's seen them several times, like more than you, and always sounds like they're a good time. And like I have no problem with their music, but I don't know if I'd ever want to go see them in concert.
right. No, I mean it was total I had a good time every time for sure. And I've like seen them like 7 times, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Uh but yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. My it's weird how like some of my tastes have changed. And then some it's just like, no way, I'm gonna love these guys till I die.
Now, we don't ever talk about it, but you still a crew head? Is that even what they call themselves?
uh yes, I still love Motley Crue. I don't like have them on regularly like I used to. And also, man, if you hear them play a show now, like the lead singer Vince sounds so bad. It's like, dude, you gotta know when to hang it up.
Well, I mean, it's probably hard to want to hang it up when you're getting probably great money to tour.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. All right. Well, let's you know what? I have one more music question.
Okay.
Who would you say right now you're listening to the most?
Right now, I don't know. It's pretty
If you
it's
had to
it
pick.
if I had to pick, it's probably still Weezer, but there's like one song and it's really embarrassing that I listen to probably the most out of any song because it's like number one on my running list. And it's a Disney song. I'll pull up the name because it's from I've not even seen the movie, but it's from the Encanto or whatever. And it's called Surface Pressure. It's the song that the Strong Sister sings. Yeah. No, if you're listening, like, give it a listen when you're working out and it gets you pumped, or at least it gets me pumped up. It's a
Okay.
song about an older sister having to be the strong one for the family. And I'm like, oh, I'm running so fast now.
Like I'm the strong sister.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
What about you, man? Is it Wombats? That's my guess for you.
That's a solid guess. And they had an album come out at the start of the year that I listened to pretty heavily. Uh but man, here lately it's been all like pop punk. So I would
Oh, right on.
say either The Story So Far or Broadside.
I don't know either of those.
Well, uh since we're throwing out names, Heavy Gloom by The Story So Far and Coffee Talk by Broadside.
I do like some pop punk, so I'll have to turn those when I'm editing this and listening to this again because I'm going to forget all about this by the time we're done. But when I'm editing it, I'll type that in the old Spotify.
Let me know what you think of both. I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Will do, man.
All right. Now that we've got some tunes chat out of the way, Tunecast,
Yes, let's do it.
music.
It would honestly be the worst music podcasts out there.
Yeah,
So
I'm not the
give us,
person for that.
yeah, neither am I. Because like I said, one of my favorite bands is Weezer. So, you know, give us some comments down below if you want Tunes Cast to be a thing.
We'll add it to our never-ending list of spinoffs.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk some news. I was wondering about you this week, buddy.
Well, dude, like, because like I mean, I didn't see a lot of stuff, and then like some of the stuff that I did see, you had already gotten to. So I'm like, oh well, I'll let this be Jake's week.
I mean, for a while I was worried about myself too, because like even the stuff I have is not like groundbreaking news.
No.
So okay, but I'll do a couple. So Spy Kids is getting a reboot through Netflix. Robert Rodriguez will write, produce, and direct. Several people have been cast already, but the one that I was happy about was Zachary Levi. We both love Zach. Wish him the best. Hope that it does well for him.
Yeah, I saw this. And did you ever watch Spy Kids, the original? Because I did not. So I really
Yes.
have no.
I watched it a whole bunch when I was
Yeah,
younger. Yeah.
I gotcha. So I mean, as an older person that's seen the Spy Kids come back, are you like, I'm gonna for sure check this out? Because I'm probably not going to, because I have no like nostalgia factor for it.
I don't know that I would have if it weren't for Zachary Levi. Like it,
Yeah,
I might now because of him, but it's not
yeah,
going to be one of those like when it comes out, I got to see it.
I gotcha.
All right. And then next, we'll keep on with some like movie type news. The Green Hornet film is back in development. I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me that they were going to try to do something with Green Hornet again. Um, I hope this one is good and like actually happens because I feel like the Green Hornet deserves to have a good movie.
Yeah, and that last one was just the worst thing like I've seen in a while whenever I watched it.
Right. I remember liking Kato,
Yeah, Kato
but
was awesome, but Seth Rogen as Green Hornet, whoever came up with that idea, needs to be slapped. So stupid.
I agree. This one will be titled The Green Hornet and Kato. And David, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. It's Koepp. So I don't know if it's cup or cope. But anyway, yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Oh, and the director was Lee Wannell. I can't say names today. So anyway, there you go.
All right. So very, very not much news for me this week, but Harley Quinn is season 3 is set to premiere in July, apparently, is what I saw. I didn't see a full date, but it's coming up. So that's exciting. It's gonna be on HBO Max. You excited since you like the other ones?
I am excited. It's a really funny show, and it's one that I didn't think I would care for until I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually hilarious." So
That's how I felt about the other Kaylee Kuko show that's on HBO Max, the stewardess, or the flight attendant, not stewardess, the flight attendant. It's actually really, really awesome.
haven't heard of that one.
It's like it was one of the ones like I remember early on HBO Max stuff. It was like they were like pushing it hard, and so I was like, "Oh, fine, this will be a me and girlfriend show." And then she was like, "I'm bored," so I'm like, but I'm like super invested. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then like she left, and then I just kept watching it, and now like I've seen both seasons, and I love it.
Right on. I'm glad that you do.
Yeah, man.
um. Okay, I'll do one more show related before I get to my comic stuff.
All right.
So it started off as just a rumor. Actually, it was like right after we had recorded last week that there's another Game of Thrones spinoff in the works, all about Jon Snow, which is Kit Harington's character. It was going to be about him after the events of the show, and that he was going to that Kit was going to reprise the role. Well, then there was an interview with Emilia Clarke this last week, and it got brought up, and she pretty much all but confirmed it because she and Kit are good friends. And then George R.R. Martin put out one of his blogs this week that confirmed that it is actually in the works. Apparently Kit himself, like this is his idea. Like he brought in his own team of writers, pitched the idea, they liked it, so it's now in the scripting stages. So that's one of 4 live action Game of Thrones spinoffs. I think apart from House of the Dragon, all the others are still in the scripting stages. And then they've got like 3 animated projects in the works too. So I know you haven't seen it, Casey. I'm still going to give some of my ideas of what the show could be about in case listeners care. But some thoughts I had would be, and again, sorry, Casey, that you don't know any of these names.
I mean,
but
I know, I actually know, like, doesn't he kind of get banished or whatever at the end? Like he's on a boat and he kind of gets,
well, he and the wildlings go back north of the wall.
Okay.
So a thought I had is maybe they didn't kill the Night King and there will be like a new White Walker threat.
Okay.
Maybe Jon Snow becomes the new Night King. Maybe Bran kind of goes a little crazy as the three-eyed raven, and that's some sort of threat that needs dealt with. Or Dario Naharis will want revenge on Jon for killing Daenerys and like brings an army across the Narrow Sea. And then maybe Jon is, thrown into that whole conflict. So those are some of my ideas. Don't know if any of it's true, but anyway, still exciting. I hope that it works out because Jon Snow is one of the best characters, hands down, and I would like to see more.
Okay, now I have a really bad idea that I'm going to toss your way. And just like on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me how much you hate it.
Okay.
Okay. But what if he's, on his boat traveling and he sees this thing in the distance? He's like, oh, what's that? And he keeps going and it's a portal. He falls through it. He ends up in 2022. And then now he's having to, like circumnavigate his life in our time with a sword, fighting, people with the sword. I don't know. Then he runs for Congress. Like that's how the first season ends.
I'd love to just, I don't know. And then he runs for Congress. It's like you were waiting to say that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I hate that? About a 14.
Oh, dang, you love it that much.
Yeah.
Because 1 is you hate it the most.
Okay.
So,
oh man.
Just as a Jake fanboy though, this is a genuine question.
Okay.
Like you said what, 6 Game of Thrones related things, including the animes. Then we have Witcher coming out with 3 new things, a new season, and like the other 2 things, and then you got the Lord of the Rings stuff. How excited for you as like a fantasy nerd is this? Like this is like your, like the time to be alive.
I know it really is like my 3 favorite things.
And
it's
then
crazy.
Dungeons and Dragons related movie coming out too, so like it's got about everything you need.
Yeah, I know. Plus the She-Ra live action. Like,
yeah, there we go.
Dude, I mean, it is a good time to be a fantasy fan. I mean, like Lord of the Rings is one thing, and like after seeing Game of Thrones and Witcher, the shows, you're like, oh, fantasy's like in a good place. But like, I never would have thought that some of these made it to live action. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it is just crazy. And like for the most part, it's all really good. So I hope that continues.
Is George R. R. Martin having anything to do with this Jon Snow show?
I think he's a consultant. But I think that he's just kind of letting them write what they want. And then I don't know if he gets like a final say or if like HBO just kind of owns all of it.
Probably the second one if you pay attention to the final season. Zing!
I know, right?
That's just what I hear.
No, it's totally true. But it also sounds like he's pretty like heavily involved with stuff. I just don't know to what extent that he gets to say yes or no.
Yeah. He's just sitting in a trailer cashing his checks. It's like, sure, do what you want.
I know, dude. And I hate to be this guy, but it's like, rather than these spinoff shows, I'd rather he just finish the book series so that I actually can die knowing how this was meant to play out. Like it
Yeah.
really, really bothers me.
It'd be
But at the
funny.
same time, he's not, just some creature that we're like, get in there and write. Like, it's not easy to be an author. And if he's making his bag, then I'm happy for him. I just wish the story had finished because this book series started in 1996.
It would be funny. It'd be really funny if like the final book comes out and it's just word for word exactly like the last season. And he's just like, yeah, this was exactly my vision. They nailed it.
I mean, I really truly kind of believe that it's taking so long because he saw how much people hated that, and he's like, okay, I need to make some changes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of the problem too, though, when you have something that's like, I mean, it's the Star Wars problem where it's like you have something that people have been waiting on for forever. You're better off just letting them wait because they're gonna hate it because people hate things.
Yeah, for sure.
Hate is what brings us together, sadly. We do not come together because we like things.
Dude, I know. And like I am part of the Song of Ice and Fire, which is the book series that subreddit. And I mean, people are still just doing like essays and breaking stuff down and like haven't stopped.
Yeah.
Like people really care about this.
Yeah.
So I hope that it delivers. And
Me too.
there's no reason to think that it won't if it gets finished because all the books are just chef's kiss. But anyway, we can move on. On to a little bit of comic news. So I've talked about this a little bit in the last few episodes, but the Conan the Barbarian comics and novels will be published by Titan Comics. Not one that I was really expecting, but the stuff that I've read from Titans, like they did the Vikings adaptation, which was pretty good, as well as, oh man, I'm totally blanking. I just had it. I don't know. Anyway, the stuff that I've read, I've enjoyed. It's like it's one of those like IDW or whatever where they really feel like they care about their properties. So hopefully that all works out.
Okay, so Hercules maybe like this is like all kind of rumors. Like the giant freaking robot is like we have a very reliable source that Hercules is going to be in Love and Thunder, and he's going to be played by Brett Goldstein, who I didn't know who he was. I guess he's in Ted Lasso, which I don't watch, but I looked at him. Dude's too small. Like that's my main problem with it. It's like my same problem with She-Hulk, where I'm like, where's the beef? And just like that for Hercules. He needs to get on he needs to get on Thor's supplement routine, if you know what I mean. So that's my main problem with it. And he's also like, he's old. I think he's in his 40s, which it's like packing on that muscle at that age, that's not going to be something, that's not going to be healthy for him. So it's like, I don't like that casting personally, but we'll see if that's as real, see what happens. But yeah, do you have any thoughts on it? Because I also don't think Hercules is needed in the Taika Waititi Thor verse because Thor's already Hercules, more or less.
No, you're 100% correct. Like, would they make Hercules the serious character? In which case, they ruin two characters.
I mean, I guess they could just make it like when Hercules first showed up, where he's like kind of a blowhard, but he wasn't funny. He was just kind of, he was basically Thor 2.0. They could just do kind of like that, like the original, but still, I don't know. It just doesn't really work for me.
Well, the movie in general isn't going to work. So, I guess we'll find out in like a week, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where like I had higher hopes going into it than you did, clearly. But after the trailers have not gotten me hyped yet.
No.
So we'll see.
I mean,
it would be hilarious if like I left going like, oh, this is the worst Marvel movie. And then you're like, I don't know what movie you watched. I absolutely loved it.
Hey, if that's the case, I will happily admit it on here. You know that I will.
Yeah.
That's one though, like customers and friends like actively talk to me about this movie. This is one that you and I really need to make an effort to see soon so that we can like actually talk about it on here.
I'll try. It was kind of funny. This is like something I didn't tell you when I went and saw Doctor Strange. Me and Bree saw it together, and she in her purse brought, because she was like a late showing, and so she brought leggings and a shirt because she was tired. So she like, because she had a dress on, so she put the leggings on and like put on the comfy shirt and then just fell asleep in the AMC chair. And so then she woke up to go pee. She took the leggings off, took the shirt off, left, and then came back, put them back on, put it back on, went back to sleep.
Crap. Why not just keep that stuff on?
Well, she's like, I would look silly walking with a dress, shirt, leggings.
Yeah, I get okay. I guess with the dress, fair enough. So she was a huge fan of the movie.
Yeah, well, she's like, I remember these scenes, and it's like a couple of them early on, and then like one about halfway through, and then the end scene where Clea shows up. That's all she knew.
That is really funny though.
Yeah.
All right. The moment so many people have been waiting for, Warren Ellis will be returning to comics next year. It's going to be a 2-part series and then an original graphic novella. I have no other, tidbits on it than that. So, yeah, we'll see.
Curious where he's publishing it at, because I know there's a lot of uproar when he tried to publish on Image. So I wonder if it's gonna be like a Patreon only thing or what. But
it could be, or maybe Substack will be like, come on over.
I mean, I would have high doubts that they would do that after seeing the way Image got raked through the coals for bringing him back. So we'll see.
All right. And then, so Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino are launching a new horror comic later in the year. It's called 10,000 Black Feathers. And the premise is gamers who have to turn their gaming skill into real life heroism against a force of evil, like supernatural evil. So that sounds pretty neato.
I thought you were gonna be like terrorist.
Well, I didn't want to, evil is very broad. Like it's a horror book. So
I gotcha.
I think it sounds pretty cool. It's gonna look really cool.
Yeah. And I mean those two work really well together too. They're one of the 1-2 punches in comics that usually nails it. So I mean, outside of, for me personally, they're Green Arrow. But other than that, it's been pretty solid.
Right. I'll do this last one and then I'll let you finish up on on yours. But so there was some uproar this week over a comic that came out last week. So the What If Miles, I think it was number 3 or 4, came out, and that's the one where what if Miles were Thor, and the writer had to come out and apologize for his portrayal of Miles. I don't know. It really just sounded like people were upset that a white guy were writing Miles and Asgard was like in the hood or something like that. Like I don't know what all was involved. They didn't like, graffiti on the hammer and stuff like that. The main takeaway is just like, dude, like, we've always talked about, well, if you could write, who would you write? I would only want to write a white dude. Like, it feels like everything you have to come out and apologize because you didn't do it right. And I just wouldn't want that. Just give me, as you put it, milk toast Captain America at this point.
So I will respectfully disagree though, because it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, that just sounds like crappy writing from the stuff that I saw. It just sounded like bad writing. Like this guy didn't get Miles. Like Miles wouldn't act this way. He shouldn't be portrayed this way. And since he's black, that's kind of like where people got mad. I mean, that's like when Bendis, though, like if Bendis was writing now, the way he wrote back in the day, he'd be apologizing every day. And maybe we wouldn't, Bendis wouldn't be like the monster that he is now, just writing everything terribly. So it's, it's kind of like, take it as how you want. But I think if he wrote Miles, if this writer would have written Miles correctly, no one would care. But since he's like writing it with like kind of black stereotypes, it kind of hurts things. But at the same time, like, I don't think you need to come out and apologize for being just a really crappy writer. You just shouldn't have the job of a writer if you're really bad at it like that.
Right. I mean, I didn't read it, so I have no idea what all the details were, but it's like, okay, if he's a bad writer, that's fine. If the story sucked, that's fine. It's still a what if book. So if it's not exactly Miles, it's like, well, it's what if.
Yeah, but you're using this character, and like the character should stay about the same. And when you're just using black stereotypes for that character because they're black, that's the issue. You're like kind of, because like Miles, from the little bit that I've read, he's kind of a nerd like Peter but in a different way. And now they're just like, it's stereotypical black kid.
That could be, again, didn't read it. I have no idea.
That's, like I said, from the little bits that I read and the outrage that I also read, that's how it sounds. So I mean, it's just like, if, like I said, if you're a good writer that worries about keeping the characters right, that's not going to be an issue, period. So like, yeah, I mean, you can stick to your milquetoast guys, but if you're wanting to, like ever branch out, you just have to be like, oh yeah, I have to do some due diligence and make sure I can get these characters right, just like you would for any other character, because that's your job. And the editor should have, and this is another thing where Marvel's editorial staff sucks so hard, because they should have looked at this and been like, this is so bad.
Right.
Why are we doing this?
Dude, I mean, and if it were me, I just wouldn't take a character that I didn't like know or like.
Oh, dude, if Marvel came to you and they're like, here, see this suitcase of cash? Yeah, you're not getting paid any of that, but hey, do you want to work on, Speedball?
Okay, but then I would go and read every Speedball comic that's ever been put out so that I know the character.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm at a point where I'm already working for Marvel and like have a choice, I'm not going to go for one that I don't know.
Yeah, unless, I mean, again, though, I mean, if you've been working for Marvel for, let's say, 25 years, okay, and you know your stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, Miles is a new challenge for me because I've never written a Spider-Man character, and this one's book is opened or whatever, I could see that being a reason to jump on.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know. I'm not going to work at Marvel.
I like to think that Marvel's listening, just Marvel, the whole company, because they listen to us on their breaks and they're like, well, he said he's never working for us, so gonna toss his resume away. Okay, so now it's time for Ezra Watch 2022. Okay, so weird. This is how the best way to put it. So first off, I'm gonna pull up this all comes from the Cultured Nerd, because they posted some different stuff. A Rolling Stones article exclusive. Ezra Miller has been hosting a young mother and her 3 children at the Flash Stars Vermont farm since April. And apparently they met the mom at a comic book convention or some kind of convention. She had bruises all up on her and stuff. And she told them, oh, my significant other, their dad beats the crap out of me. And so then Ezra had them live with him just to get away from the abuser. And then this other person from Poindexter's Lounge had this person allegedly say, oh, they're the ones that started the rumor about Ezra grooming that kid. Okay. And they actually had the person had texts from them and Chase Iron Eyes, allegedly. Again, like, it's hard to, because they're saying, oh, I did it because I just wanted Ezra's, I saw some stuff that someone was saying, and then I passed it along, and I didn't actually look it up, and I wanted to just ruin Ezra's life. And it's like, okay, if you're saying you did that, you might be making this up, because it's not really adding up. So it's hard to really look at it that way, but at the same time, it's just kind of one of those things where you have to take everything that's being said about Ezra with a grain of salt at this point. it's all just crazy crap. And I think still at the end of the day, they need help.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, whether stuff is true or not, like people are still gonna think it's true. So
Yeah.
it's like nothing is made better.
and then it's also the fact that's like, even if the grooming stuff, which is like the worst stuff, isn't true, they were still attacking people in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You know,
Still
like,
a garbage person.
there's still stuff that's not okay. And like that's the problem too, that the person that posted the messages between the person that said that, oh, this guy sent me the stuff about Ezra, they're like, okay, because you know how there's Zack Snyder fans and then there's Zack Snyder cultists.
Yeah.
This guy's a Zack, like, he comes off, like, I was looking at his Twitter feed, he looks coming off like a Zack Snyder cultist. So like that very much could be play into this too, because where they're like, oh no, this guy was, okayed by Zack, so he's perfect. I mean, I'm curious what he would think about Amber Heard. So it's one of those things too. So you kind of have to take people's credibility as it is. But I will just kind of say, like, till we hear more about this whole grooming stuff, we kind of just have to, I'm trying to let both sides out for that, since we talked about that before. It's just kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, that's about all I got on that. Crazy. That's the best way of putting it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's the end of the news. So now we're going to take our ad break, and we'll be back to talk some comics. So we'll be right back. All righty. Any topics of discussion, my dude?
No, not right off. I mean, I'm sure we can come up with something because it's pretty easy too. But what about you, man? Anything major?
Well, so I've passed by it a couple times in the car, but my lady and I were out on a walk yesterday. And it turns out that there is a rather large record store just down the street from me.
Oh, nice. And you're into that lifestyle now, another hobby that costs a lot of money.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to go see if I can find some that are on my list. But yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like you move to a new area and there's all this cool stuff and you want to go look at the stuff, but you don't really have time or make time to go look at the stuff, right? But this one I'll probably make some time to go check out, because I can always use some more records.
What are you looking for? More older stuff or more newer stuff, like from like newer bands that you like now, or like some stuff from the
I'd say a little bit of both. Like there's still lots of Bowie that I don't have.
Yeah.
And I eventually would like each of his albums. And then, well, right now it's just some of the newer like pop punk stuff that I'm getting into. How many records do you have, if you had to put a number on it?
I really have no idea, because I've not bought any new ones in a good while. But I remember when I was still living in Bloomington, I had a butt ton, like probably 60 or 70, 80 maybe, in that area, because like I had a shelf that was full. So that,
How do you do you alphabetize them? Like, how do you know what's what, or you just kind of
I mean, it's to the point where like you would put stuff in a certain spot and then you would just know that's the spot type of thing.
like my genre?
No, I'm just like, because I had a lot of collections. So like I had the mountain, or not the mountain goats, the Blur whole set, and then like a couple, and then like this old blues set, and like some other stuff that were like big boxes. So that would all go on the end, and then I would just put stuff in other way, just however. And then yeah, so like, because you couldn't really alphabetize when you have like boxes like this big all next to each other. So I just would then just kind of put in stuff however, and then I'd just be like, oh, where is the mountain go? Oh, there they are. And then just do it that way. Now with you wanting Bowie, are you like, has to be the old pressings, or if you're like, this is a new pressing, fuck it, I don't care?
I don't have the money to be that picky.
I gotcha.
I was like, how much could it be?
Yeah.
It could be a lot, turns
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So no, I just want it. It doesn't have to be the original.
I got you, man. There's this fun book series that I've read, 2 of the books from it. It's called The Vinyl Detective. And it's this guy, his job is to find rare vinyls and stuff. And then like he gets asked to find this really rare one. And that's where the book starts, he's like, or not starts, but that's what the book's about. He's like trying to find this really rare one that's, there's people that are trying to kill him over it and all this stuff. And it's a fun time.
It does sound like a fun time.
I'm just like, why doesn't he just go to Discogs?
I've gotten 1 or 2 from there because I asked you what that site was called.
Yeah. The worst part about that site is like, and this is just how I am as a person, which is like a broken person, but you'll get on there and you'll be like, oh yeah, $3.99 for REM. Fuck it, why not? And then you'll get to the checkout and be like, $80 to ship it. Well, I'm this far, might as well.
I will never do that for REM.
I mean, like, that's all exaggeration, but I think I ended up spending over like $20, and I was like, I wanted it, so I might as well. This will bring me joy for 5 minutes,
Right. What's the most you've ever spent on a record?
Probably over $100. But most that was probably shipping.
Yeah.
Because I think I got a David Bowie one from there. It was from Germany. And that was like $50 to ship.
I wish it was a German person singing in German, but as David Bowie.
Dude, that'd be hilarious.
Oh man. Speaking of, I meant to do a post when it happened, but then forgot. But last week or the week before was the 50th anniversary of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars.
Oh wow. I think it'd be like, man. I just found out David Bowie died. I'd be like, dude,
I was devastated.
I know.
But yeah, that's my personal favorite album of his. So it was, I mean, gosh, 50 years, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think the David Bowie album that I got from Germany was Changes, I think.
Because that's your favorite Bowie song, right?
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is a good one. All right. Welcome back, folks. Casey and I could have gone on much longer, I'm sure, but if you would like to hear us talk about vinyl records and just music in general, I know we sort of did at the beginning, but in a little more in depth. So if you want to hear us talk about music, go to our YouTube channel. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube. And that'll be the exclusive topic this week.
And if you want us to record this podcast on vinyl records and then send them to you, just send me in an envelope $400. And it's like self-addressed, like multi-stamp, so I can send it back. I'll record this onto vinyl for you and send it to you. Just do that. Find my address from Jake, maybe, I don't know, and then send me that money, and I'll do this for you. You're welcome. You want to get into comics?
Yes, please. What did you read this week?
Okay, so I read The Amazing Spider-Man number 4, Dark Crisis Young Justice 1 of 6, Newburn number 8, The Maestro number 4, Batman Superman World's Finest number 4, and Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen's boss Perry White number 1. Not gonna lie, I was kind of let down this week. What about you, man? What did you read this week?
Did you just not get through everything?
That's all I had.
Man, I thought for sure we would have had a few more mutuals. Okay, I read World's Finest number 4, Batman the Knight number 6, New Fantastic Four number 1.
Yeah, I forgot that book.
I only picked it up because I thought you were going to be getting it. Black Adam number 1, New Mutants 26, Samurai Sonja #1, Fables 152, Nightwing 93, Beware the Eye of Odin #1, and Moon Knight #12.
You didn't read Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen's boss, Perry White?
No, I left it at work.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you go first because you read more than me.
Yeah. Okay, Moon Knight #12 was super cool. There's a big fight between like Zodiac and Moon Knight and like a bunch of mummified versions of previous avatars, which looked freaking awesome. I need to show you.
Was Korra there or Aang?
Wrong avatar, buddy.
Oh, we're like the blue people.
Also wrong avatar.
Hey, okay. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And like each one has a unique, well, sort of unique costume on, different aspects, I guess, but it was cool. Yeah, and then at the end, Mark gets swapped out for Stephen Grant for like the first time in 12 issues. So we'll see what happens there. But anyway, I liked it a lot. Really nothing that I didn't like. So I guess I'll give it like a 9.5.
Where's the -0.5 from it?
I don't know. I just feel like not giving it a 10.
Right on, man.
And then next I'll do Beware the Eye of Odin. Oh, I didn't give the creative team. It's Jed McKay and Alessandro Cappuccio on Moon Knight. But for this one, the writer is Doug Wagner and the art was done by Tim Odland. And it's pretty neat. We kind of just get thrown straight into the story where the son of this village, like chief, has the Eye of Odin inside of like the little necklace thing. And he had a vision saying that he needs to return it to its rightful owner within so many days or he's going to die. So the one-armed blacksmith from his village joins him, and he's cool. Casey, you'd love him. He's just a big, strong guy, and he has an anvil at the end of a chain that he just throws at enemies.
That is awesome.
Yeah. You'd probably like the art too. Here he is using it to kill a giant boar.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
So yeah, and then the third member of their party is this gal who thinks that she is a Valkyrie. So it's fun. There's good humor. The art's pretty fun. I like the subject matter a lot, so I'm going to be giving this one a 9.
Yeah, you're like a German person at a, I don't know, at a thing where they're very unhappy and they're saying no a lot.
Just wait. There's one of these that I thought was just the worst.
I gotcha.
Should I do one more? How many do you have?
I got a few. I'll do one and let you do 2 and I'll do 1. We'll do it like that. So Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. And so you get some Felicia. So someone brought this up online, and it's very true about Romita's art, or Romita Jr.'s art. He can't draw kids. It looks weird when he draws kids, and like, look.
I would argue he can't draw adults.
He can draw some adults, and like I think his regular adult art, you can be objectively be like, oh yeah, it's not good, or you can be like, it is good. Like, it's all in that. But his kids, they look weird. Period. Just it's how there is to it. And then Spider-Man's about to be killed. This guy he saved comes in, rescues him, and then Spider-Man fights everybody and then stops Tombstone's plan, because Tombstone had this big plan about basically having all of these guys dressed like the Rose's henchmen, kill a bunch of people, and then superheroes will be like, oh, the Rose's henchmen did this, and then they, will go after the Rose. So Spider-Man beats up all the guys, stops him, and it turns out Tombstone was planning this all along. And he was actually had him at the bottom of the Rose's place and left him there, which it's like, I don't know, because I remember from last issue, I remember Tombstone leaving him there and then walking out of the room. And then like this issue, it's like, surprise, it's the Rose's place. And I'm like, how did Tombstone just get out of here after telling you his whole plan? So that was kind of weird and kind of dumb. So I'm going to reread 3, but as of right now, how I remember it went, it did not go like that. And this was pretty dumb that it just worked out perfectly for Tombstone, especially after the whole Devil's Reign arc put the Rose as like the new Kingpin. And then like, they're like, guess what? Spider-Man can actually just beat the Kingpin at any time. He just doesn't. So it's just really dumb to me. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. I wasn't very impressed, and it's like sometimes art can save a book, and I'm not a Romita Jr. fan, so it doesn't help at all.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of cool seeing Spider-Man go all out like that, but I'm also not a fan of the way Zeb Wells decides to tell this story, where it's like, this is several months in the future, and Mary Jane's got kids that are pretty old, like years old. So it's like, I don't know how this month jump works, but as old kids, we'll find out what's going on. She's married.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, next for me is Nightwing 93. It's written by Tom Taylor and art is done by Bruno Redondo. This issue, they expose all the corrupt police officers that destroyed the Haven. Old Dickie Grayson lets it slip that he loves Barbara. She doesn't hate the idea though. And yeah, the Heart Stealer guy has a run-in with Blockbuster. And yeah, that's kind of it really. So nothing to like super hate this issue, but I'm not loving it either. So I'll give it a 6.5.
Art still top notch?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on.
It's perfect every issue.
Yeah. Okay, so next up for me,
I thought I was going to get to do 2.
You are, so go ahead.
Sometimes I wonder why people even listen to us.
I mean, the numbers are going down.
All right. So, Fables 152. It is written by Bill Willingham, and the art is done by Mark Buckingham. And yeah, I still don't really know who these characters are, but I'm enjoying what I'm reading. It's just like a bunch of fairy tale people. Peter Pan is kind of the douche, and he seems to sort of be, I don't know if he's the bad guy, but definitely a bad guy. Turns Geppetto, who's also not a good guy, into a rock. And then, yeah, the wolf, what's his name? Bigby, sends all of his kids off on an adventure so that he can build their cabin unbothered.
Nice.
So yeah, I like it. I can't tell you much about it. I just enjoy what I read. So
Right on, man.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
You gonna get a some of those like, omnibuy for it?
Maybe eventually. Like
Yeah.
I have to think that if I like this aftermath, I would like the real thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we go to a convention and they have the omnibuy sales like they sometimes do, that'd be the way to get it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about Dark Crisis Young Justice 1 of 6, and this is by Megan Fitzmartin and Laura No, she just says Laura Braga on the art. Now Megan Fitzmartin's the person that's going to write the Tim Drake book, correct?
Yes.
Boy, that's a book I am not going to read. So basically, you got just all of the teen angst from the Jeff Johns Teen Titans run, with none of the fun from the Peter David Young Justice run. Like that, they're all there, and like Cassie's like, ugh, I hate them. I'm so upset about all of this. And then like Superboy's like so it's just so bad. I just hated it. I hated it. So I wanted to like this a lot because I like these characters, but it's just like, yeah, it's just the whiniest thing. Like here's Cassie talking about the Superboy, Robin, and Impulse. Connor Kent Connell, the first Superboy, part Superman, part Lex Luthor, first love of my life. He never seemed to care about anything. Everything rolled off his back. He wasn't just cool. He was the symbol of cool. The type of guy that never let anything affect him. That is until he died. Tim Drake, the third Robin, but the first one to choose it for himself, which seems to mean he can't be anything else. He stuck letting that identity be his entire personality, despite being unable to save literally every father figure in his life.
Damn.
Yeah, right? And finally, Bart Allen, Future Boy, Impulse, Goofball. It's not fair to call Bart a screw up, but is that really incorrect? Despite being the fastest of the three, he trails behind the other two like a puppy that hasn't figured out how to work its legs. Together, we used to be Young Justice. It's like, boy, Megan, did you read Young Justice? Because boy, you're doing a terrible job of writing these characters. And then it's also like, they did the thing that DC does where they like play fast and loose with the continuity, because like there's one part where Cassie's talking about how she hooked up with Tim Drake because they were both sad over Connor. She's like, and Connor can never know. It's like, you already talked it out with him. Like he knows he doesn't care. Like that was in continuity. I read that comic. I think I have it somewhere. And then but basically Superboy, Robin, and Impulse all wake up in the past. Like they just randomly go to the past, and they're gonna do one of their early fights, which was with Mighty Endowed, who was this female character that was like very much a parody of the big boobed women of that time period, and like her boobs would just get bigger and they would mesmerize men. That was the whole thing. And like now, and with Megan Fitzmartin write it, they're like she's like, the mighty endowed, I will defeat you like I always have with these. And like they're like covering her boobs with clouds, and then the three guys like, yeah, I remember this now. This was weird. And Superboy's like, not enough therapy in the world for this. It's like, it was just kind of a fun joke, guys. Yeah,
This sounds terrible.
It really was. And then like she's trying to find where they, like she goes to Wally and asks where Bart is, and they're like, I don't know, I'm too busy. Like that's basically what it's like, well, I thought you might know. It's like, God, he's angsty. I don't care. I don't know where he's at. It's like, that's not Wally. What are you doing? And then Nightwing's like, yeah, Tim's gone. And John's like, I don't know where he is. It'd be nice if I had some help though. And Cassie's like, well, see ya. And she flies off.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah. It's like, I bet you could use some help. So yeah, it's just really bad. Just a very bad time. And I hate, like, Superboy had one of the coolest I mean, honestly, this whole Young Justice team had some of the coolest costumes, and the way this artist decided to make them look in this, it's just like angsty boy terribleness.
Yeah, they all have scowls.
And then like the way they do the hair, I don't know, I just hate it so much. It's like, boy, this used to be fun coolness, and now you're just making it angsty garbage. So not a fan. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10. I would recommend just don't read it.
Okay. So next up is Samurai Sonja. Number one, it's written by Jordan Clark, and the art is done by Pascal Quilano and Mariana Puglia. And I liked it for the most part. Like, she's on a ship with her uncle and all the uncle's men going, I don't know, somewhere to like have a fight or something like that with warring forces. And a giant like water dragon destroys the ship. And Sonja's sinking, and then a goddess shows up and she's like, I'll save you, but you have to fight evil, like this evil spirit in my name. And Sonja's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And then just never says anything about her dead uncle and like all the people that just died. So I was like, okay. I mean, maybe she didn't care for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, then the rest of the issue is her fighting like a giant skeleton, which was pretty cool. And let me find a good panel of her and her samurai armor, because it is very, very cool. And I'll say like the art is definitely just a high point in general for this. Okay.
Oh, that is pretty rad.
Yeah. So she's got a cool like golden mask, and they still incorporate the chainmail, which is neat. But anyway, I liked it a lot, apart from the goofiness of the uncle. But even then, it's like, who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, we sort of see the demon that it looks like will be the main villain for this. And also, just look at the cover.
That's awesome too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it a lot. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it.
I have a funny question for you. Since they're basically the same thing but just different genders, you've read a good bit of Conan now, and you're reading Sonja. Which do you prefer now? Just after like very briefly reading Red Sonja, though.
Probably her because
Yeah.
she's prettier to look at. But they really are the same character.
Yeah.
And she spun out of his books. So
I mean, and not now, basically, too, though, if you had like a new Conan book and a new Sonja book, you're probably going Sonja 100% because it's not going to be written by Jason Aaron.
well, yeah, that it's like, every cover is going to look awesome no matter who's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if I'm going to see the same content, I'd rather, I'm just going to be real. I'd rather see a hot redhead doing it than,
Yeah.
Beefcake Conan. Nothing wrong with Beefcake Conan.
What if Beefcake Conan was a redhead?
Oh, we'll never know.
Yeah.
All right. And then next, I've got New Mutants 26. And it's written by Vita Ayala. And then the art is done by Rod Rice. So, and there were some flashback scenes by Jan Dursema. But yeah, this was cool. So they're trapped in limbo after that first issue, and they essentially just run into like old lady Magic, who has one of her arms is like a metal arm, but it's Warlock from like New Mutants Warlock. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool. And he like turns into different things and can shoot and stuff, which is just stupid and awesome, right?
Yeah.
Especially when Rod Rice. Yeah, I know, he looks cool. So it's just Magic and old Magic, Wolfsbane, Danny, and Madeline Pryor kind of battling with some evil, like Warlock infused demons. And spoiler alert, they win and figure out like how to get out of there, essentially. But also Magic gets a new sword, which just looks so cool.
That is pretty rad.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they want old magic to come with them, but she says no, that she and Warlock need to find what happened to their old crew, and they go their separate ways. So we'll see what happens next, but it's still awesome. I'm still glad that I picked this up because I'm really enjoying it. I'm gonna give it, man, I guess a 9. Like I really just liked it. There wasn't anything to not like about it. So
right on, buddy. How many books you got left? We might be switching to one apiece because I got 3 before Batman Superman.
As do I.
Okay. Cool. So next up for me, it's Newburn number 8 by Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips on the art. And I really like this. So it's kind of like sets up from the last issue where his partner is in trouble, and they also have the person that killed the Yakuza boss, and Newburn figures out a way around it and everything. And you also get to see how ruthless Newburn can be and everything there. And it's just awesome. It's really good. Like if you like crime books, it's just a great time. My only knock on it is they do a secondary story that I just have not cared about a single one of these secondary stories. I tried reading them early on and I can't be bothered. So maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think I am. So that's like the main knock on this book, but otherwise it's actually really, really awesome. And this is the first one that I'm like, boy, if you're gonna read anything I read this week, Newburn's one you should check out. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Is it your pick of the week?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how you haven't had your pick of the week yet, since you just keep.
I forgot about it until now.
All right on, buddy.
Man, I would probably have to give it to New Mutants, though.
Yeah, right on.
Okay. So Black Adam number 1. So Priest does the story, and then Rafa Sandoval does the art. It was pretty neat. Like art's really good. Black Adam fights Darkseid at the beginning, and I'm like, I don't know about that one. Then you find out it's not really Darkseid, because is it ever?
Yeah.
So he's trying to figure out what's going on there. Meanwhile, he's got like a UN meeting where people are trying to mess with his country. And then like his biggest political rival gets assassinated, but not before visiting this dude who works at a hospital. So he goes there just as a regular person. I forget what his name is, like Seth Adam or something like, or Set Adam.
I think it's Set. Yeah.
Okay. To try and find out like why this person got assassinated after talking to him. But then it turns out that that guy is a descendant of Set Adam, and Adam tells everybody that he is dying and that he's going to pass on the power to this new guy.
Okay.
So I really, really liked how Priest wrote Black Adam. Like it was very good. I just don't know if I care enough to read another 11 issues, if that makes sense.
No, that 100% makes sense. It's a Black Adam book.
Right. If this were like 6, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But committing to 12, it's like, I liked it, but I don't know that I liked it that much.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 7, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I just don't care. Yeah. So there you go. Priest, very good writer.
It's just he gets stuck with characters that are sometimes ones we don't give a crap about, and that's the main problem.
Yep.
Okay, so next up for me, it's Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen's boss Perry White. And Jake, have you ever been like super excited about something and then it just let you down?
Yeah.
That's this.
Oh, really?
Yes. So This is basically one of those comics that are like, oh, here are their greatest hits, and it's a Perry White's greatest hits outside of like one news story that was by Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber, and it's fine. It's nothing that's, you know, not what I was really wanting. And then the rest are, we got some this like a thing from Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction. Then we have the toughest newsboy in town, which is from Action Comics 461 by Elliot S. Magan and Kurt Swan. Then the Super Cigars of Perry White by Elliot S. Magan and Kurt Swan. Old Men Talking in Bars by Neil Clyde, Dan Haspiel, and then An Expert from Truth by Brian Bendez and Ivan Rice. So yeah, it's just a compilation of Perry White's stuff, and yeah, I don't know. It was, like I said, very much a letdown because I had much higher hopes for this. If I had known this was going to be a compilation book, I probably wouldn't have got it. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. I was very let down. I was just wanting a fun, stupid Perry White story, and didn't really get that. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, man. That's a bummer. Okay, so new Fantastic Four #1. It's written by Peter David, and the art is done by Alan Robinson. It was pretty neat. There's like a demon that comes to Vegas, and there's like an underground city with a bunch of like homeless people, and this demon goes down there and is like convincing them all to get violent, and you know, life's not fair and they should go, you know, take what's theirs. And this priest that helps out some of the people down there goes down there during one of the demon's talks, and the mob turns on him. And then it cuts to all of the new Fantastic Four members. They sort of meet up with Gray Hulk. What's his name? Joe Fixit or something like that? Okay, Joe Fixit. And they all just have an inkling that they need to go to Vegas. So they go there. A fight breaks out between the mob and all the members. And then they find out that not all the mob are people. Some of them are demons, so they can kind of cut loose on some of them, which still looks weird because it's like Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk just beating the crap out of people. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Some of them, like the priest gets sent to Reno through like a magic portal, and like everybody but Ghost Rider gets sent back to New York. And I guess it's the demon guy that did that so that he can have like a one-on-one fight with with Ghost Rider. And then it says to be continued. This was fine. I wasn't crazy hot on the art. And also I just don't know that I care till I keep going with it. So, you know, it is what it is. I'll probably give it like a 6.5. I just don't think this one was made for me. You know what I mean? I have a feeling you'll probably like it a lot more than me.
It's funny though, like, so I never read a single story with the new Fantastic Four except for the what if about them. I think I've told you about that what if, because it's like, did I at all tell you about?
Maybe.
Okay, so basically the new Fantastic Four, they're, you know, in the Baxter building and stuff. Then like some of Hulk's bad guys, some of Wolverine's bad guys, I think Nightmare and a Spider-Man bad guy were all like, let's all just team up and kill him. So, and I think it was some Fantastic Four baddies too, all decided like, yeah. So I think we got like Super Skrull, Abomination, Nightmare, and I don't remember who else, just decided to attack them. And then they kill all of them but Spider-Man and MJ. And then they're like, it's basically a Watcher going, the Fantastic Four worked because they were a family. It doesn't matter how strong you are. You need a family, you know, like that type of thing. And it's just like, oh, okay. So that's a good what if, I guess.
That's not how I thought that was gonna
Yeah.
go.
It's like good thing the real Fantastic Four came back because these guys suck. Okay. Next up for me, it's, speaking of Peter David, Maestro, World War M, and it's by Peter David. And the other artist guy, I'm gonna find the name of. I know it's Peralta. It's Herman Peralta, and this is a good issue. It's, you get like the last issue, Namor's family got killed by Hulk, so now he's like, you know, that picture that's like, you know, popular online where they'll like, it's Namor, or I think Dr. Doom blowing the trumpet, and then there's that big whale like mammoth monster, you know, that that monster is the one that's attacking. It's super tough, and it's, you know, crushing, you know, destroying all this stuff. And so Hulk's having, you know, Maestro's having to fight that. And yeah, it's pretty rad. You get a lot of really cool fights. You get, you know, Hulk trying to use his brain because he's not strong enough to stop it. And then Dr. Doom's there. He's like, he doesn't like that Namor's doing this because he's like, you're killing all of the people that I want to rule, basically. And then Abomination's like, oh, there's this woman that looks like the woman I love. And then the monster just kills her. Like he tried to save her. And then like she dies. So now Hulk and Abomination are going to team up against Dr. Doom, Namor, and the Human Torch. Jim Hammond, Human Torch. And I'm really, really pumped. I really like this a lot. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It was really, really good.
Still not pick of the week?
That one would be.
Oh, okay.
It'd be either that one or Young Justice. I can't decide. Leaning toward Maestro though.
Yeah. Okay. Next for me is Batman the Knight #6. This also wins worst book I read this week. It's by Zdarsky and Di Giandomenico.
I'm glad I accidentally dropped it that one week and then not cared to pick it back up. This is the worst of the week.
Yeah. So Bruce and his friend seek out this like master marksman. And there's the whole trope where the marksman's like, I'm not a part of that life anymore. I'm not gonna train you. And then they're like, well, this lady sent us. He's like, oh, I loved that lady. Guess I'll train you. So he does, teaches them how to shoot a bow. And like, it shows them kind of struggling with it. They're shooting a bow at this tree. And then, you know, the friend is like, I want to shoot at moving targets. And the guy's like, you're not ready for moving targets. And then some ducks are flying overhead, and Bruce just aims up and shoots and kills it. And this is pretty early on in the issue, but I really was just rolled my eyes. So Bruce is talking about how he was able to do it because the teacher's like, well, how did, and Bruce says, nothing is unpredictable if you're prepared. Before I met Anton, I trained with the Mongolian, pastoralist. It's like he mocked me for it. What could I learn from a nomadic tribe? But she taught me how to read the environment, to feel subtle shifts in the earth, in temperatures, and in changing of the wind. Dinner's on me tonight. Subtle shifts in the earth. It's dumb as hell.
Yeah, that sounds pretty stupid.
Like, what are you doing, Chip? You're better than this. Anyway, it somehow gets worse. We get this guy's backstory with some really not great art. Turns out he killed he was on a hit for the government, like the Swiss government. But then the target's family was there too, and there couldn't be any, witnesses. So he killed his wife and child as well. But anyway, then they move on to gun training, and Anton and Bruce go out and for moose hunting, and Anton kills the moose. And the teacher looks for the wound, and the moose was shot through the neck. And I'm just thinking, if this guy's teaching him, he would teach him not to shoot him in the head or the neck. Like you go for like the lung or the heart, like back here.
Because okay, I don't know. I didn't grow up hunting. I know you've hunted and stuff, and you know that stuff. It's because it's a bigger target, correct?
Yeah, it will put them down almost immediately.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. But
anywhere else, and you have to track them, and they might get away. You might not find them. But the guy's like, "Why didn't you go for the brain like I taught you?" It's like, I mean, you could, but Chip clearly is not a hunter.
I love the idea of like in Chip's house, he's got all these trophy deer and moose, and it's just like their heads are just destroyed.
Just destroyed. I know, right?
It's like all headshots.
And then the teacher like gets mad, and Anton's like, "What does it matter?" And the teacher says, "It matters because it's quick and painless. You didn't even aim for the spine." And I'm like, again, you don't really aim for the spine because it's close to the top. And then like, what if you miss? Like, I don't know, man.
In all fairness, it does sound like he's training them to be this elite that they should be able to hit, pinpoint the head or the spine, not like how a normal person would be like, no, we need the bigger spot to take out, that type of thing.
Right. Anyway, the teacher, whose name I just read is Luca, then pulls a gun on Anton, and he's like, "You're a killer. I could smell it on you whenever you guys got here, but I pushed it out of my brain because I didn't want to see the truth. You try to cover it, but and essentially he's like, I'm not going to let you leave to go out into the world and be a killer." So then Bruce points the gun at Luca, and he's like, "He's not a psychopath. Stop. This is crazy." Ends up shooting Luca's hand, which drops the gun. And then there's a big old fight. Luca gets shot by Anton and killed. So now Bruce is super upset. Then those two have a fight, and Anton just kind of leaves him for dead out in the woods, and goes on his way. And then the book ends with Bruce is just like, "Here I am alone, and my heart is shattered all over again." Dude, this was fucking terrible. Like, this is like the worst Chip Zdarsky comic ever written. It was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first issue being really rough, and then I think the second issue,
that is an Eisner award-winning comic compared to this.
So I mean, I'm not that surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, I'm beyond disappointed. So I'm going to give this a 2, and I'm also not going to read the next issue because it's dog shit.
Right on. Okay, now we're just our one mutual, correct? Okay. Yep. So next up, it's Batman Superman World's Finest by Dan Mora and Mark Waid. Boy, the art in this is really, really good. The story itself, it's not my favorite with all this different stuff going on, but it's still pretty fun, and it's bonkers and stupid, if I'm being honest. But I liked it. What did you think?
I can only assume you're talking about the fusion.
Yes, the fusion dance.
I like, maybe it's just Dan Mora. I think it looks awesome.
No, it looks awesome. It's just stupid.
Yeah, no, it
And
totally is. But I like that's the vibe of this book, though.
I mean, I have a feeling though, this is probably something Mark once read in a Green Lantern Silver Age book that, oh, if you combine your willpower, you can fuse with the Green Lantern ring. And then, so I mean, I have a feeling it's very much a thing, but yeah, it looks cool. It's just silly and dumb.
It's almost like something that would have happened in the 90s as well. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like this design in particular,
yeah.
but in a
It look
good way.
it looks like a toy I would have had as a kid.
Yeah.
But Dan Moore's art in this is so stinking good. And we get the big reveal on how they're supposed to be able to stop the demon, keeping it in its place and all that stuff. And it's really funny to me because on the last page, it's like the only way to close the gate is from the inside. And like Superman and Batman are looking worried, but really they should, the Doom Patrol are the ones that need to be looking worried. It's like Superman and Batman, they should be like, and like the Doom Patrol guys are like, oh crap, which one of us?
Right. But Superman's gonna fly to try and get there first.
Yeah.
No, I think it's super funny. I also wanted to say how much I really like the scene where the fusion dance breaks and they break off and Nez is there and he's like, I'm gonna kill you. And then who comes soaring out of there at light speed and knocks him out? It's Supergirl. And that was a really cool scene.
It was awesome. Supergirl MVP of this issue. That's like the main knock on this series though, is it's not a Batman Superman book. It's just like a Mark Waid DC book. It's like I'm gonna throw in Doom Patrol, Supergirl, Robin, Batman, Superman, and they'll be side characters. Well, we're gonna have Green Lantern, Goku, whoever.
Actually,
yeah.
Yeah, like it's still. I read this after reading The Night. I was like, oh man, I love this compared to that shit. So I might be a little bit higher on it than you are. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm actually right at an 8 too. The Dan Moore's art's so good. The story itself is such bonkers fun. It's really hard to complain about it, and yeah, it's just a good time.
Yeah.
So what are you excited for, man?
So I'm gonna go with Action Comics, Robin, and probably Task Force Z. I know it's only been a month. I feel like it's been longer, and I really like that book.
Right on. I'm gonna say, what's the furthest place from here? She-Hulk. That one felt like it's been way too long since the last series, but it's just feels like it's been way too long. And then the Godzilla Best. I don't know what the heck that's gonna be, but I'm pretty interested in it.
It's $100 book. Just kidding. But Casey, it's the best of Godzilla. Yeah. You're just like, I have to.
Okay, man. So time to finish up with the Fantastic Four, and I rewatched, or by rewatched, I mean I had it on while I was doing other stuff. Shorzy. Second view through because it's only 6.
How is it,
dude? It's great. I mean, like I said, 6. It's only 6 episodes, so it's like a breeze. But and like I said, I love it. So give me 4 spinoffs for like minor characters from a comic book that you would love to just to see be a new series.
Man, you could tell I wasn't ready for this. When I looked earlier in the day, you hadn't written it in yet. Okay, so give me from Mr. Miracle, I want an Oberon spinoff.
Right.
What's that little guy up to?
Yeah.
We don't know. Power Rangers, but it's all about gosh, I'm blanking on his name, the guy in the tube.
Oh, Zordon.
Zordon. What's the Zordon spinoff going to be about? I have no idea.
I mean, dude, he's got a lot of lore. So I mean, you got to do, like, if you want to be really funny, just be like Zordon now, so he's just stuck in the tube at all times.
Right. Let's see who else. I don't know if you'll let this count or not. I'm gonna say Beta Ray Bill again. That's always a spinoff that I'm down for. And then Bat Cow. That's a character that everyone loves. We just don't know too much about.
Yeah. So my first one would be from the world of Chew, be El Pollo.
Is that the chicken?
I mean, I know you don't know Spanish very well, but yes, that is the chicken.
Boy, that was that gave myself some Chris Farley vibes. And for those of you that don't habla español, El Nino is Spanish for the Nino.
And then another, like, I would really like a Herbie from, I think it's Herbie, the little robot in Fantastic Four. Just a series about him. Like, you know, let's just say the Fantastic Four disappeared. He's living in hard times on the streets of New York.
That's sad.
And then let's go with the Crypto the Super Dog comic.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. And then let's say a Gus from Saga comic. And I know that'd be your favorite one.
It would. I would absolutely read that.
But art by Rob Liefeld.
Ooh, and you lost me.
Gus is just so jacked.
He just covered in pouches. All right, guys, that is the end of the episode. So closing plugs, if you would, go to facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also follow us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, go to our YouTube channel. That's 2 Worlds Podcast on YouTube and subscribe to the channel.
And give us some fun spin-offs of your own. The winner with the best spin-off will get Dark Crisis Young Justice #1.
Signed by Casey.
Yeah, I will sign it great big for you. But hey,
first giveaway of the show.
We would love to stay in chat, and hey, I'll get Jake to sign it too. We'll do it that way. But we'd love to stay in chat, but we gotta break some storms or something. I don't know what Midnight or Apollo do. Bye, guys.
Bye.